Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gate to Wire. I'm Bruce Casella, along with my beautiful co-host, Danny Gibson. Hi, Danny.
Hi, Bruce. I'm very excited about our guest today.
That's right. Our special guest this week is a two-time Hall of Fame jockey, now a jockey agent here at Parks, Joe Hampshire. Welcome, Joe.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's great to be here.
Well, we love Joe. Joe, we know we love talking about what it was like being a jockey, but what motivated you to take the next step into being an agent?
Well, Danny, I've been on the racetrack all my life, and it's pretty much the only thing I know since 14. And I knew at a later age when I was riding that this was probably the path that I was going to take. And what happened was I got injured in 2014, and I uh, I hurt my shoulder, so I was still able to ride. And I had took on an apprentice, and he did very well. And finally, I healed up, and he got hurt, and I went back to riding for a while. And unfortunately, I got hurt again soon after that. And Michael Sanchez asked me if I would be his agent because he saw the job that I did with the other kid. And I told him yes, and I started with Michael, and everybody knows what happened there. Michael's a star, and I'm very comfortable with this job. It's pretty much like riding, but you don't ride, if that's makes any sense. You still having a relationship with the trainers and some of the owners, and I'm still in the game, and I haven't went to the hospital in a long time, thank God.
Yeah, a little warmer being agent. And to me, you're the epitome of a jockey agent, and you've really got a great relationship with your riders. You're able to school them in a lot of ways, right? Not just about riding, but financially and the mental aspects. Talk about coaching your riders, what that's like.
Yeah, Danny, thanks for the compliment. But yeah, I get very close to my riders, and I try to teach them not only how to ride better, and they'll listen to me a little more because I've done it, but
Right.
also teach them about life. And most of them are very young and from other countries or whatever. So it's good that they have a little bit of a mentor, to teach them about taxes and things that they need to do to survive in the future. It's not all about coming here and riding for 1 year and then your career's over. It's about having a future, and that's why I try to mold them into a future.
Well, you've molded some good ones. And Joe, you've even opened up your home. You have one of the apprentice jockeys living with you now. I mean, there's no bigger commitment than that. I think that's just awesome and shows the relationship that you really have with your riders.
Yeah, Danny, that goes way back to when I was riding in Boston. I've had so many riders come into my home trying to help them. Um, my ex-wife, she wasn't very happy about it. Maybe that's why she's my ex-wife. But you know, uh, I've always tried to help the young riders. I've had a lot of help when I was learning how to ride, and it's always good to give back. And at the same time, when you're riding, you want to teach the young riders so they ride better, so they keep you out of less trouble. And
Yeah.
it's better for the riders to educate their other riders if they'll listen. Some riders don't, young riders, they think they know it all, but my guys, they seem to listen to me pretty good. And I have Kendry living with me now. I've had many living at that house. And I like having them around. My wife is in South Carolina now, so it's good for me too. It keeps me young.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about history, Joe. For those that don't know, you're from South Philly, but somehow at the young age of 14, got your education in Lexington, Kentucky at Keeneland Racetrack. Tell us about that story.
Bruce, that's a crazy story. When I was 14, I was a pretty good athlete, and I hated school. And my father used to take me horseback riding in New Jersey when I was young. And I always wanted to be some kind of an athlete. So I told my father that I wanted to be a jockey. And he said, if you want to be a jockey, you got to go to Kentucky. And he reached out and got a Lexington, Kentucky phone book. We called Keeneland Racetrack. We got a hold, he got a hold of a security guard who gave him John Ward, the trainer's number. And I think it was like 3 months later, I was on a plane crying my eyes out on my way to Kentucky. And that's how it started.
Well, you started at Beulah Park, where you got your first ride, and then you came to Keystone Park, which is now Parks, in 1983. And then you made your way to Boston and Suffolk Downs, where you became a star there. Talk
Yeah.
about that transition.
Oh, Bruce, I was kind of a wild child, back in the day when I first started riding. And, if I had better focus, I had talent and I was riding for good people and I was winning. But as a young kid, I wasn't focused enough. But as I got a little older and I rode here for 8 years, 8 or 9 years, when I went out to Boston, I was well educated. I was so fortunate to get probably the best agent I ever saw in my life in the Max Hall, and he took me under his wing, and we just started doing good, and everything snowballed, and I had 18 consecutive riding titles in Suffolk Downs and Rockingham Park. And then when Suffolk seemed like they were going to close their doors and things weren't looking good, the gentleman I was riding for, Ron Dandy, he decided he wanted to come here. And I followed right along with him. And I'm glad I did. I love Parks. Parks is my home. And, there's so many good people out there, and hardworking people. And, they take great care of these horses. And this is a great place. And I want to be here until I retire.
Joe, now you're not riding in the saddle, but tell us what your day's like as a jockey agent, from the time you get to the track and a little bit about what that looks like.
Yeah, Danny, as you know, we get here early. And I give my jockeys their schedule the night before. And as they're going around getting their horses out, I walk around the barns every day and talk to the trainers. And you know, a lot of times I talk about sports, I talk about life, and they know what I want. They know
They know
I'm
why
looking,
you're there. Yeah.
so I try not to bother the trainers and badger them for mounts. Do you got anything, this and that? I just try to have conversation, and usually they come to me. But I do the morning thing like that. I make sure my jockeys get to the jockeys room, and then I'll come up here to the racing office and do some things, and then I'll go back home and I'll put the races on the TV. I have two TVs. I watch the races. But and then as the day goes on, I after they ride that race, depending on how the horse ran, I mark them into my condition book for the next race, and that's pretty much what I do in the afternoons. And of course, the phone is always ringing. So I'm on the phone a lot, and I pretty much stay in the house all afternoon until the races are over. And then, like now with Kendry, when he comes home after the races, we go over all the replays and,
Yeah.
we critique everything that he did and we talk about it. And, we try to do better next time. And that's what you got to do. It's a process. And, it's working out great.
I've seen you bring jockey Sylvester Gonzalez really far too, as well. I mean, you guys teamed up for quite a number of stakes wins. And you've gotten to ride some really nice horses like Chub Wagon and Winning Time. So you guys have done very well. What's that relationship been like? Because Sylvester was riding before.
Yeah, yeah. Sylvester was actually doing pretty good before we hooked up. I think he was like eighth or ninth in the standings at the time. And Sylvester's a great guy. Like he's a great person. He's a hard worker.
Yeah, he is.
Um, yes. And he rides a good race. And so we were fortunate enough to get in with people like trainers like Kate DeMassey and Bob Moscow and so many others. I could go on and on. But and he did get to ride some really good horses, and he still got a few good horses to ride here, around here. And I'm proud of him. he's got a family, he's got a house, and he's doing well. And Sylvester was a blessing to me after Michael moved on to where he needed to be.
Joe, you're in two Hall of Fames. You were inducted in the Parks Hall of Fame in 2021. You're also in the Boston Sports Hall of Fame, and I have video of you throwing out the first pitch at a Red Sox game. Are you a Boston fan or are you a Phillies fan, being from South
No,
Philly?
Bruce, I tell you this, I'm a Philly fan. I was born and raised about a mile and a half from the stadium. So I remember one year when I was like 10 or 11, I went to like 40 games. And I just when what happened was when I went to Boston, because they're American League, back then they didn't have the TV all broadcast like they have now. They would show um, the AFC games over there, and in baseball, the American League. And I'm a sports fan, so and they were very good, the Red Sox and the Patriots. So I did gravitate to that team, to them two teams. Now the Celtics and the Bruins, I did not. But as soon as I got back home, I kind of and Brady left them, and I didn't watch one Red Sox game this year. I watched every Phillies game with my dad, rest his soul, and yeah, I'm a Philadelphia fan all the way.
That's awesome.
Joe, I know we got to talk about your dad. He was just so cool, and I'm sure he's looking down on you. And you guys had a really special bond, and I'm glad I got to know him.
Oh, thank you, Danny. Yeah, my dad, he wasn't just my dad, he was my best friend. He lived with me for the last 12 years. I did my best to take care of him, but unfortunately his heart just couldn't take it no more. And he passed away peaceful, and I'll miss him very much.
Well, I got to ask you one more thing. So me and you have we love aliens and we love the extraterrestrial. Do you think aliens would make good jockeys? My thinking is because they're lightweight, they're telepathic. Do you think they would make good jockeys?
Jeez, wow, that's an interesting question.
I was thinking about that.
I am thinking about it. Well, I think they would, if they look like they look like on TV, they're probably small enough. That's a big key. Um, yeah, I do. Why not?
They would
Yeah,
mold themselves on top of the horse, and you wouldn't even tell the difference between the horse and the
Exactly,
jockey. You know,
exactly.
they they would shape shift.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it one day.
All right, guys. Well, listen, Joe, thanks for joining us on Gate to Wire. I really appreciate it. It's great catching up with you again, and happy holidays to you.
Yeah, happy holidays to everyone, and thank you so much for having me. I always have fun doing this, and you guys are great, and I appreciate it.